let's talk about doppelgangers. I'm gonna smoke some weed for this because doppelgangers is a crazy subject. Like, you know what a doppelganger is? It's basically like a parallel version of yourself that is alive somewhere in the world, and you may or may not have seen them. Sometimes we cross paths, but I've seen my doppelganger. I think it was in New York, probably 8 years ago, but that's the thing. It's like it's a fleeting moment where you're just like, that person looks just like me, and they might be you. That's the crazy thing. Oh, don't get me started on doppelgangers, man. It's amazing. What a weird word. Let's see, doppelganger. It sounds like an apparition or double of a living person. It sounds like German. Doppelganger, sometimes spelled as Doppelganger, is a biologically unrelated look-alike or a double of a living person. In mythology, it's portrayed as a ghostly or paranormal phenomenon and is usually seen as a harbinger of bad luck. A twin stranger. What a crazy... Oy. A twin stranger. That's fucking terrifying sounding. I mean, could your doppelganger be of a different gender? No one ever thinks of that. Maybe it's in here somewhere, but I guess benevolent, harmful spirit, a double of the same sex race. So maybe you can't. I don't know. I feel like I could see a woman and think like, hey, that's kind of like me if I was a woman. Oh. But it's an interesting concept, like, I mean, what would you do if you saw your doppelganger? Would you, like, say hi to it? I would. And then what? Like, have you seen that movie, Melancholia? Is it Melancholia? No, that's the one where the planet comes down. Anyway, there's a movie, After Earth, maybe? Something, but I forget the name. Maybe you can find it. But it's about a movie of they find another planet. Like, they look in the little big telescope thing and they see another planet, and it's full of people that are just mirror versions of everybody who's alive on Earth. And people want to go up there to meet their alter version. But it is a German word, doppelganger. It is weird. It's like, it's... You ever get that feeling that someone's looking at you, and you look around and maybe somebody was looking at you, you look away, unless you're alone, and then maybe you think it's a ghost or something? I feel like doppelgangers exist in a world that's a little like, it's paranormal. I don't believe in ghosts, but it is the doppelganger is like in the paranormal landscape of interesting things. A poet named John Donne saw his wife's doppelganger in Paris the same night as the stillbirth of their daughter. That's another thing that will be for another conversation, but the idea of not premonition, but association, like, of course we associate things with other things. That's like human being 101, it's drawing conclusions, and so we can then solve problems. That's what, I mean, imagine trying to do a math problem with one number. So, just because this guy saw, his wife's doppelganger and then his kid died, I mean, would his kid have died if he had not seen that doppelganger? That's why it's in the realm of the paranormal. It's in the realm of like, and the uncontrollable. And that's a huge place to be, the uncontrollable. I mean, the uncontrollable, I imagine, could only exist if you if you can reflect, because something has to happen for you to then reflect on whatever that thing that had happened, and then part of that reflection might be that weird thing that happened 2 days ago. I mean, who is it? I almost call him Samwise Gamgees. Salman Rushdie. He was stabbed like insanely amount, like a ton, and neck and all that shit. He's a writer. Because look it up. It's because of some dude who thought he was being an asshole or whatever. He wrote some book, but he had a dream 2 days earlier that he was being attacked by a gladiator, and it's like that can't be why he was knifed. If he had not had that dream, would he have been knifed? I mean, everybody thinks of it the other way around, where is he had the dream and therefore then he can somehow control the present moment based on a premonition, based on something that had happened in the past that somehow is connected to something that might happen, or I guess is happening. I don't know. I try not to subscribe too much to the whole, like, I don't know what you would call it. It's like a time, a past, present, future kind of playhouse. It's like it's just, to me, it's just that whole concept of past, present, future is just a part of the brain, and that may not exist in the future. There may not be a past, a present, or a future in the future, ironically, and therefore, and how could that happen? Well, easy. Like, if thoughts are physical things and we start being able to see them, then we would be able to forecast people's actions based on the thoughts they've had, because we can see it, we can map it. It's all very kind of obscure right now, because the brain is just a bunch of meat and not, it doesn't look like John. I've always stood by that. Like, your brain doesn't look like you. It's just a fucking pile of meat. It's a pile of just ground beef, essentially. It's red, gray, ground beef. So, I don't know. Doppelgangers are interesting. I guess maybe you can see your doppelganger and something good will happen afterwards. I don't know. It's, even if you scratch the possibility that something bad or good will happen after you see your doppelganger, just like the idea that you would see someone who looks like, and that's how fucking, what kind of assholes are we? They look like us. Isn't that weird? Hey, you look like me. What the fuck, man? What about him? If I saw my doppelganger, I would say, I would run up to him and I'd say, "Wow, I look like you." That's what I would say. "Wow, I look like you." I guess it depends how handsome I think he is. If I think he's better looking than me, then I look like him.